Welcome to Storewars, the world's leading business simulation. Storewars is now in its 7th edition. Since its launch in 1995, the course has been run in over 40 countries by hundreds of leading international manufacturing and retail businesses.
Storewars is about learning by doing. During the course, you will run a multi-million-dollar business and learn the complex strategies and decisions that senior managers and directors of modern businesses worldwide have to deal with. You will learn from your good decisions, but you will also learn from your bad ones. You will be acting either as a manufacturer or a retailer, normally for a 2-year period. Each day of the 4-day simulation being 6 months in our simulated world. There are 5 teams, 2 retail and 3 manufacture. Your objective is twofold: to make your $600 million business bigger and more profitable, and to leave your company as a successful, growing concern.
The 2 retail teams, R1 and R2, compete with each other, each of you having approximately 100 large supermarkets under your management across the 2 countries in which you're present.
The simulation automatically creates a 3rd retailer, R3, representing a collection of smaller independent convenience stores who compete with the big chains represented by retailers 1 and 2. R3's normal market share is below 12% and shows a declining trend. However, market share may grow if the main retailers commit mistakes.
R3 carries a relatively balanced assortment of brands. This may change, however, if one of the main players decides to delist a major brand. In such cases, the brand in question will substantially increase its share in R3's stores. Sales by R3 will increase when either R1 or R2 is out of stock of specific products, or R1 or R2 refuses to list a new brand.
Sales to R3 are 10% less profitable because of higher distribution costs, reflected as quantity discount in the manufacturer's financial report.
All 3 manufacturers are competing against each other. However, the computer will also create a 4th manufacturer, an importer wholesaler. If any of the 3 manufacturers do not produce enough product to supply the marketplace, M4 will deliver the missing volume, making good any shortfall.
Normally, the 4th manufacturer will supply marginal volumes. If his shipments increase, it means that main manufacturers have lost potential sales. However, all deliveries from M4 are 10% more expensive than the list price of the original manufacturer to reflect higher transportation and delivery costs.
The Storewars simulation is structured so that manufacturers negotiate with retailers, agreeing which brands they will stock, which brands they will promote, which new products are to be listed, and any advertising support to be paid for. The retailers, in turn, need to get the consumers or shoppers to come to their stores and purchase products on a regular basis. The money ultimately flows from the consumers, so it's in the interests of both manufacturers and retailers to discuss how to maximize the spend and loyalty of the consumers. This is the core of our thinking behind the simulation. Manufacturers and retailers who are able to work together generate more money if there is cooperation. Manufacturers can only sell via retailers, but they interact directly with shoppers via consumer communication.
All companies operate internationally in 2 Storewars markets, Limburg and Åland. These markets can be stable and mature with little growth, or they can be developing markets with dynamic growth. For each Storewars course, the macroeconomic position of markets is set up by the facilitator.
Manufacturers produce in one factory for both regions. Markets are far apart, so retailers cannot move stock from one market to another. There is also no media overlap. This is to ensure that all companies consider whether they need different strategies for each of the 2 different markets.
You must not assume that consumers in the 2 countries want exactly the same things. Tastes and price sensitivity vary across the 2 countries. There is similar customer segmentation in these markets. However, the importance of the segments may differ. Limburg is larger, with 250,000 households, but it is slightly down market, Oland has 150 households, but is slightly more upmarket.
You are producing, as a manufacturer, or selling, as a retailer, two categories. A delicious food product called foodles, and an essential cleaning product called woodles.
The first category, foodles, has a limited shelf life and becomes obsolete after 1 year, 2 periods in the simulation.
Foodles is manufactured from meat, fat and vegetables, and it is then packaged. You can control all 4 variables. We only use one standard size in Storewars, so packaging means the quality and not different sizes.
The frame of reference that consumers use to judge foodles, to be found in the market research reports that you are given at the beginning of the simulation, are the 3 dimensions savour, healthiness, and price perception, price index.
The marketing mix is adjusted by the price of the product, the weight of advertising, the advertising message, and the running of promotions.
In market research, brands are displayed in a perceptual map like this one. Each letter represents a brand. You can use these maps to understand where each brand falls in the consumer's mind.
The price perception for each brand is shown as an index in a table alongside the map. It is the 3rd dimension. This is a perceived price index, an index relative to other brands. 10 is the lowest price perception, and 100 is highest. It's important to note that it is not an actual price, but a perceived price. If you advertise that you have low prices, if your media message is that your brand is well priced, if you use nice cheap down-market packaging, and if you're running promotions with money off, then consumers will perceive your price to be lower.
Storewars consumers can be grouped into 4 reasonably distinct segments. High price-sensitive heavy users, low price-sensitive heavy users, high price-sensitive light users, and low price-sensitive light users. The segments are of a different size and different profitability. It is important that manufacturers should look at both the way they are currently making money and where they could make money, i.e. the potential opportunities. For different segments and/or different countries, you might want to offer different products.
The second category is woodles. Woodles is a cleaning product comprising detergent, softener, perfume and packaging.
The consumer perceives woodles by its efficiency as a cleaning product and by its scent.
All marketing mix variables are also available to influence those perceptions.
Woodles' perception is different from that of foodles, as there are only 2 dimensions, efficiency and scent.
Efficiency is a combination of the cleaning power of the product versus its market price. Consumers are able to gauge the cleaning power they're obtaining for each dollar spent. This implies that, everything else being constant, dropping the price will move a brand to the right or more efficient side of the map.
The segmentation method chosen for woodles is a bit different from the one used for foodles. Here, a market research company has identified 4 psychographic groups in terms of their preferences and given them descriptive names: price-sensitive, normal, sensual, and cleaning freaks.
The normals are buying a product that cleans and has a nice smell. The cleaning freaks are completely driven by the ability of the product to clean efficiently, and the sensuals are attracted to the smell or bouquet of the product. You need to consider whether you need a brand or number of brands for each group of consumers.
Which brands currently appeal to the cleaning freaks segment? You can see that this segment is poorly served by the brands currently in the market. But does this mean that they are not currently buying anything? Not necessarily. They may be buying something close to it, but they are not particularly happy with it.
You must not assume that consumers in the 2 countries want exactly the same things. Tastes and price sensitivity vary across the 2 countries. You must take these differences into account when you plan your marketing strategy for each country.
We have looked at how consumers perceive foodles and woodles. But Storewars consumers are also shoppers, and they must also assess the retailers. The retailers are running a collection of large supermarkets. Each of them is the market leader in one country and number 2 in the other country. The total number of supermarkets and of customers visiting them is balanced.
One function for retailers is to get as many customers as possible to shop on a regular basis in their stores and then spend as much money as possible. The basket size of their shoppers can be increased by promotions, additional marketing, new launches, and price.
Retailers affect their business by the service level they decide to operate at, the number and assortment of brands they select, the prices for the brands on their shelves, the quantity and level of promotions running in their stores, the amount of advertising promoting their stores, and by their own private label strategy. From the decisions which retailers make about their own stores, consumers arrive at a price perception, a convenience perception, and a quality perception.
Market research on retailer shoppers has divided shoppers into 4 segments: quality shoppers, local shoppers, price-sensitive shoppers, and finally, value shoppers. Local shoppers are clearly driven by the consumer perception of convenience, quality shoppers by quality perception, and value shoppers by the trade-off in their minds between quality versus price. Finally, price-sensitive shoppers are driven by price perception. Please note that when it comes to perception of price, lower is better.
The consumer has to decide which retailer is more attractive to shop at. As in real life, retailers need to get as many customers as possible. Supermarkets and hypermarkets should have propositions for every separate or individual shopper group.
Local shoppers are particularly interested in convenient and efficient shopping. They want to find all that they are looking for in one place. They expect a large assortment and good in-store service. For quality shoppers, retailers should offer premium and new products. A friendly environment is also required. Value shoppers are, in a sense, a more price-sensitive variety of quality shoppers. They also expect high-quality assortment, but they permanently trade off quality versus price. Their choices can be influenced by promotions and good value new products. The last group, price-sensitive shoppers, is obviously mainly driven by the prices. Store quality and convenience will become important for them only if 2 or more comparable stores offer the same prices. In general, although each shopper's segment clearly focuses on a specific perception dimension, it does not mean that the other dimensions are completely ignored. For instance, quality shoppers, even if they're significantly less price-sensitive, will not choose a store that offers high quality if prices charged there are far above the expected market average.
Retailers need to develop a strategy that attracts every shopper segment to their stores.
Once the consumers are in a store, they become brand choosers, having to decide which products to purchase. For Foodles, they already understand who the market leaders are: Frill 1, Feed 2, and Fimi 3. They're either going to purchase their normal product, or they may take notice of the increased shelf space for a brand or the promotion of a brand. They will also become aware of prices and price movements, or the launch of a new product in this category. So they may stick to their usual brand, or may try a new brand.
Alternatively, if the stock range has been reduced, the prices increased, or their particular favourite brand delisted, they may decide to go and shop elsewhere and move their preference to another retailer.
The retailer's ideal is to carry most of the brands that consumers want at good prices, introducing some new products from time to time to fill gaps appearing in consumer desires. If no alternative is attractive enough, then the purchase will be postponed to a later trip, or the consumer may look for the product in another store.
This gets to the crux of the problem, the key premise on which this training is based. Why is there inherent conflict between manufacturers and retailers? Are consumers more loyal to a brand or to a store?
Each decision you make covers a 6-month period for your business. If you're a manufacturer, you have an existing price list, and in every period you revise your prices for the next 6 months.
So the first step to understand your business is to understand the last 6 months. Are you in profit? What does the balance sheet look like? How does each brand perform? What are the gaps in the market? Ultimately, is your company performing well? You start at the end of period 0. Results in period 1 will be determined by your first set of decisions.